I killed my best friend with a single bullet to the head, but it wasn't murder, it was mercy. Or at least that's what I told myself as her blood sprayed across the Oval Office carpet like abstract art from hell. Mom always said I was wasting my life flipping burgers in some godforsaken Jersey diner, chasing dreams that tasted like stale coffee and regret. She never imagined I'd end up here, in a body that wasn't mine, pulling triggers for a country that chewed up souls like mine for breakfast. The swap happened on a Tuesday, the kind of ordinary Tuesday that unravels everything. I'd been Juliet Harlan, 28, single, scraping by in a one-bedroom walk-up in Asbury Park. The kind of place where the ocean mocks you with its endless crash while your bank account runs dry. Art school dropout, barista by day, failed painter by night, my canvases gathered dust in the corner, splashed with colors that screamed frustration more than genius.
Mom,
God rest her chain-smoking soul, called every Sunday to remind me I was throwing it all away, that I should have stayed in Philly, married that accountant prick from high school, popped out a kid or two. You're better than this, Jewel, she'd rasp, her voice like gravel from years of Marlboros and disappointment. But I wasn't. Not until the accident. It started with a favor. My brother, Tommy, always the golden child, the one who got the scholarships and the pats on the back, called me out of the blue.
Jule,
I need you to cover for me. Just this once. Tommy was a rising star at the Pentagon, some hotshot analyst in cyber ops. The kind of guy who wore suits that cost more than my rent and dropped lines about national security like they were pickup attempts. He'd been dabbling in black market tech, siphoning data for a shadowy contractor named Victor Hale. Hale was old money, DC. Elite. The sort of silver-haired bastard who golfed with senators and whispered poisons into the ears of presidents. Tommy thought he could skim a little off the top, fund his gambling debts without anyone noticing. But Hale noticed. And when the Fed started sniffing, Tommy panicked. Take the fall for me,
sis. Say it was you on those drives.
I'll make it right, I swear. His eyes were wild over FaceTime, the kind of desperate that twists your gut. We'd always been thick as thieves, me covering his ass since we were kids stealing smokes from Dad's pack.
So I did it.
Falsified logs, wiped my own digital fingerprints over his, made it look like Juliet Harlan, nobody artist from Jersey, had hacked into classified servers for kicks. The raid came at dawn, black SUVs screeching up to my building, agents in tactical gear kicking in my door like I was bin Laden. They dragged me to a black site in Virginia, waterboarded the truth out of me, or tried to. I held firm, spilling nothing about Tommy. Buried secret number 1, my brother's treason, pinned on me like a scarlet letter. They called it enhanced interrogation, but it felt like drowning in regret. Days blurred into nights of fluorescent hell, my screams echoing off concrete walls. That's when Hale showed up, not in a suit but in scrubs, flanked by white-coated goons who smelled like formaldehyde and false promises. Miss Harlan, he purred, his voice like aged whiskey over broken glass. We have a proposition. Turns out, Hale wasn't just a contractor. He was the architect of Project Echo, a DARPA-fevered dream of neural mapping and consciousness transfer. Body swaps for the elite. Upload your mind into a healthier vessel. Dodge death or disgrace. Tommy had stumbled onto it, tried to leverage the tech for his escape. Hale's offer? Swap me into a disposable assets body to test the beta. And in return, Tommy walks free. Refuse, and we all fry. I laughed in his face. Spit blood from a split lip. You think I'm your lab rat? But Hale leaned in, breath minty with menace. Your brother's already in the queue. Juliet. One word from me, and he's the next donor. Donor. The word hung like a guillotine. So I signed the waiver. The one buried in legalese thicker than a Tolstoy novel. They strapped me to a gurney in a sterile chamber beneath the Pentagon. Electrodes kissing my temples like Judas. The last thing I saw before the void swallowed me was Tommy's face on a monitor, mouthing sorry as Hale's team initiated the transfer. Waking up was rebirth and rape in one. My hands stronger, calloused, male, flexed against restraints. I was in a mirror, 6'2", buzz cut, mid-40s, the face of Commander Elias Grant, USMC, decorated war hero and Hale's prized puppet. My mind, Juliet's chaotic swirl of acrylics and Atlantic salt, was crammed into this soldier's skull. His memories flickering like bad reception, Fallujah firefights, Oval Office briefings, a wife named Sarah who left him for a lobbyist. And beneath it all, the rot, Grant had been Hale's enforcer, silencing whistleblowers, covering ops that made Watergate look like a parking ticket. I'd taken the fall for Tommy's hack, but Grant, he'd borne worse, framed for a drone strike that vaporized a village wedding. The kind of mistake that gets you a psych eval or a shallow grave. The swap was flawless. Or so they thought. Hale released me, Juliet's body, now housing Grant's consciousness, back to Jersey with a slap on the wrist and a non-disclosure etched in NDAs. But I was Commander Grant now, striding through the earring corridors like I owned them, which, in a twisted way, I did. Mom called that first week, her voice crackling over the secure line I'd rerouted to my new desk.
Jule?
Is that you? What the hell's going on? The news said you got off, some glitch in the system. I almost broke then. Wanted to scream the truth. But Hale's watchers were everywhere. Ghosts in the machine. Instead, I lied smooth as bourbon. Promotion?
Ma.
Things are looking up. She chuckled, disbelieving. Yeah.
Right.
Keep dreaming, kid. Revenge started small. A whisper in the dark. I accessed Grant's files, decades of dirt on Hale, offshore accounts laundering black budget billions, experiments on vets that turned men into vegetables. The swap tech born from stolen Soviet code. Buried secret number 2, the crime I'd born wasn't just Tommy's hack, it was Grant's final order. A cyber purge that erased evidence of Hale's arms deals with cartels south of the border. I'd woken up with that blood on his hands. Betrayal cut deepest from Tommy.
Though.
My own flesh. Selling me out to save his skin. I tracked him to a Georgetown townhouse. Hale's safe house disguised as a pied a terra. Slipped in under cover of a storm. Rain lashing DC. Like God's own fury. He was there, pounding whiskey neat, eyes hollow as a gutted fish.
Jule?
What the, how? I stepped into the lamplight, Grant's baritone rumbling from my throat. Surprise. Brother. Or should I say, Commander? His face drained white, then purple with rage. You were supposed to forget. Hale said the transfer wipes the slate.
Lies.
The tech was glitchy, Grant's muscle memory lingered. But my rage? That was all Juliet. Feral and unchained. We grappled, him wiry and desperate, me a coiled spring of marine fury. I pinned him against the marble counter, his breath hot with scotch and fear.
Why?
Tommy? I took the fall.
The waterboard. The swap.
For you. Tears carved tracks down his stubble.
Hale.
He had leverage. Dad's old debts. The ones from the casino runs. And Sarah, Grant's wife, she was in on it. Feeding him intel on you. Said you were expendable.
Jule.
Just a broke artist no one would miss.
Sarah.
The name twisted like a knife. Grant's memories flooded, her laugh like wind chimes. Her betrayal a venomous aftertaste. She'd been Hale's mole, seducing the commander for access codes, then greenlighting my swap as collateral. Deep betrayal. Layered like DC. Scandals, family, lover. All in Hale's web. I let Tommy go that night. A controversial mercy. Snapped his phone. Warned him to vanish. But Hale? He was the spider. Fat and gleaming at the web's heart. I burrowed deeper into Grant's life. Briefings with Joint Chiefs, where I'd nod sagely while plotting. Weekends at the Virginia farm Grant owned. Target practice honing skills I'd only faked in video games. Mom visited once.
Flew down on my dime.
Stared at this stranger in her daughter's skin, or so she thought. Elias? Who the hell are you? I spun a yarn about a reunion, but her eyes narrowed. That maternal radar pinging. Jules gone radio silent. If you hurt my girl. I hugged her stiff frame, inhaling her Chanel no. 5 mixed with doubt. She's safe. Mrs. Harlan. Safer than ever. The tension built like a nor'easter off the coast. Hale summoned Grant to his McLean estate, a sprawling Tudor fortress guarded by XSLS who eyed me like fresh meat. Over cigars in the library, walls lined with first editions that screamed old money, he probed. Elias. You've been off. The reports from the black site, Harlan's body is stable. But your sync rate dipped. I puffed smoke. Grant's poker face masking Juliet's fire. Glitches happen. Vic. Like that village wipe in '09. Remember? The one you pinned on me. His laugh was a bark, but his eyes, cold as Potomac ice, betrayed the hook set. From there, it escalated. I leaked fragments, anonymous drops to ProPublica about Echo's horrors. Vets waking in strangers' skins, screaming identities that weren't theirs. Hale retaliated subtle. Grant's credit cards frozen. Whispers in the brass about instability. Tommy resurfaced. A ghost in a burner call. Run.
Jule.
Hale's onto you. He's prepping a reversal swap. Back to your body, but wired with a kill switch. Panic clawed my throat. Controversial decision 1. I seduced Sarah. Slipped into her Alexandria brownstone under Grant's old pretense. Wine flowing like apologies. She was still stunning blonde waves. Yoga-toned, but hollowed by guilt. Elias. I did it for us. Hale promised immortality.
Lies.
In bed. Her nails raking my back. I whispered probes. Hale's vaults. Access codes. She broke easy. Spilling like cheap Merlot. Betrayals echo. She cried for Juliet, the sister she doomed. Climax brewed in the shadows of power. Hale's gala at the Kennedy Center. Black ties and backroom deals. Chandeliers dripping like Hale's conscience. I arrived as Grant, medals pinned. Sarah on my arm like a trophy turned Trojan horse. Tommy lurked in the wings. My reluctant accomplice now. Feeding hacks from a van blocks away. The plan. Expose Echo live. Project classified vids onto the Potomac backdrop. Swapped soldiers begging for death. Hale's face in the frame. Gloating. But Hale smelled the rat. Midway through toasts, his goons cornered me in a service corridor. Tasers humming like angry bees. You think you're clever, Harlan? Hale's voice slithered from the dark, his silhouette flanked by suits. Grant's mind was a fortress. Yours is a sieve. I let you loose to flush out the leaks. Revelation hit like a gut punch. The swap wasn't a mistake. Hale engineered it. Using my frame-up to test containment. Could a civilian's psyche override a soldier's? Tommy? His puppet too. Debts fabricated to reel him in. Sarah? Bait. Her betrayal scripted to break me. The buried secret. The crime I bore was an error. It was Hale's masterpiece. Project Echo's genesis. A cartel hit disguised as Grant's drone glitch. Funneling laundered funds to election rigs. I'd been the perfect patsy. No ties. No alibi. A life wasted enough to vanish without ripple. Rage boiled. Juliet's artist's soul slashing through Grant's discipline. I fought dirty. Knee to a goon's jewels. Elbow to another's throat, breaking free into the gala's roar. Microphones hot. I seized the stage. Sarah's codes pulsing in my earpiece from Tommy's feed. Ladies and gentlemen, I boomed. Grant's timbre laced with Jersey grit. Tonight, we unveil the real American dream. Immortality for the 1%. Souls swapped like stocks. Projections flared. Horrors unspooled. Hale's empire crumbling in pixels. Chaos erupted, gasps. Flashes. Senators scrambling like roaches. Hale lunged from the wings. Syringe glinting, reversal serum. His ace. We tumbled into the orchestra pit. Tuxedos shredding on brass. You are nothing. Juliet, a wasted life for a worthy vessel. His fist cracked my jaw. But I countered with a chokehold. Grant's training surging. Wasted? I painted your end. Vic. Tommy burst through. Trank dart blooming in Hale's neck. He slumped, eyes bulging accusation. Sarah watched from above, tears streaking mascara, complicit to the end. Or was she? Twist came in the aftermath. Sirens wailing as feds swarmed, not Hale's, but real ones, tipped by my leaks. Interrogation room. Fluorescent purgatory redux. They peeled back layers. Tommy's rescue was Hale's ploy, a double bluff to trigger my exposure. But the reversal? Hale's serum worked halfway. As they prepped the chamber to unswap, monitors flatlined. Grant's psyche, dormant, rebelled. Fused now. A hybrid horror, my rage. His precision. I flatlined too. Or seemed to. Woke in a new body, neither. Both, a black-budget clone. Echo's final joke. Ending? Debatable as DC. Itself. Hale rots in Supermax. Empire dust. Tommy? Vanished. Maybe redeemed. Maybe running. Sarah visits. Her hand on the glass. Whispering love or lies. Mom? She believes the cover. Jules a ghost. Grant a martyr. Me? I command shadows now. Painting vendettas in code and blood. Wasted life? Nah. I just traded it for the throne. The fusion lingered like a hangover from hell. Every nerve firing with alien echoes. Grant's ghosts whispered tactics, flank left. Suppress fire. While my own voice, Juliet's, hummed sea shanties to drown the static. They kept me in a sublevel at Walter Reed. Rehab, they called it. But it was a cage with IVs and shrinks probing my skull like it was a piñata. Commander Harlan Grant, the lead doc drawled, his southern twang thick as grits. You're a medical miracle. Or monstrosity. I smirked, Tasting blood from a phantom bite, Juliet's habit when cornered. Call me Jules. Saves time. Freedom came courtesy of bureaucratic inertia. With Hale's network gutted, raids on his shell core from Miami to Monaco, the brass needed a scapegoat turned savior. They pinned a silver star on my hybrid chest, parade ground shine masking the rot. For services rendered, the SECDF muttered at the ceremony, his grip like a vice on my shoulder. Services, dismantling a conspiracy that could have toppled admins past and present. But whispers followed, congressional probes, Fox News hit pieces calling me the swap freak, a liberal wet dream of deep state voodoo. Controversial decision, too. I played the hero. Leaked just enough to the Times to spin my tale as whistleblower gold, burying the body count details under redaction stamps. Back in civilian life, or what passed for it, I claimed Grant's Arlington row house, a brick sentinel overlooking the cemetery where heroes moldered. Sarah showed up unannounced, key still in her purse from snoopier days. Elias, Jules, whatever you are now. Her eyes, green as envy. Scan the space, leather club chairs, walls hung with citations that weren't mine. She poured scotch from his decanter. Neat. The amber liquid catching lamplight like trapped fireflies. I didn't know it'd go this far.
Hale.
He twisted everything, lies or truth. Her fingers brushed my arm. Electric with memory not mine, Grant's nights tangled in these sheets. I pulled away, Juliet's independence flaring. Twisted? You greenlit my swap.
Sarah.
Watched them carve my mind out like Thanksgiving turkey. She deflated, sinking into the Chesterfield. For the greater good. Echo was supposed to save lives, vets in failing bodies, jumping to fresh starts. But Hale. He weaponized it. Buried secret number 3, Sarah's complicity ran deeper. She'd been the architect's apprentice. PhD in neuroethics from Stanford. Recruited post, 9/11 with promises of godhood. Grant fell for her pitch. Then her lips, Tommy. For her connections that greased his debts. Me? Collateral. A volunteer whose low profile made her ideal for the beta. I chose you because you were clean, she whispered. No family ties to trace. No digital footprint worth a damn.
Just.
Wasted potential. Mom's words echoed. A cruel loop. Wasted. The word fueled me. A Molotov in my veins. We didn't sleep together that night. Controversy enough in the what-ifs. Instead, we plotted. Hale's remnants, sleeper cells in the Beltway. Loyalists embedding in think tanks. Prepping a counter-narrative. They're calling you a Russian asset, Sarah said, scrolling dark web forums on her tablet. Body swap psyop to destabilize the military. Paranoia prickled. Was she playing me still? I tested her. Fed a bogus lead about a Hale safe house in Bethesda. Watched her squirm when feds raided an empty warehouse the next day.
Clean. For now.
Tommy surfaced via dead drop, a burner in a foggy bottom coffee shop. His note scrawled like a kid's apology. Sis. I'm out.
Canada.
Don't follow. Hale's ghost has reach. Attached. A thumb drive. Encrypted payload that cracked open Echo's codex. Blueprints for swaps. Reversal protocols. A ledger of donors, homeless vets. Undocumented migrants. Junkies scooped from Skid Row. Rage-crested, these weren't vessels. They were stolen lives. Minds marooned in limbo. Controversial decision 3. I greenlit vigilante justice. No badges. No briefs, just me. Grant's arsenal from the basement safe. Hitting Hale's mid-levels one by one. First mark, Dr. Lena Voss, Echo's lead surgeon. Now consulting at a Beltway clinic for fat cat facelifts. I tailed her to a wine bar in DuPont Circle. The kind of spot where power brokers preen over $20 glasses. She was mid-40s, sharp bob and sharper heels, laughing at some AIDS joke. I slid onto the stool beside her, Grant's charm masking Juliet's edge. Dr. Voss? Commander Grant. Heard you pioneered some cutting-edge work. Her eyes widened, then narrowed, recognition flickering. Elias.
Or not.
We talked circles, vintages veiling venom. Her probing my recovery. The fusion, fascinating. You're the proof. Civilian neural plasticity trumps military rigidity. I bought her another round, spiked with a truth serum from Grant's Black Ops kit, mild, leaves you chatty without the crash. She spilled. Hale's endgame. A council of swaps for the elite. Presidents in perpetual youth. Juliet Harlan was the key, she slurred. Olive branch extended. Your empathy, it bridged the gaps the soldiers couldn't. Flattery. Or fact. I walked her to her car. Alley shadows swallowing us. One question. Lena. Ever wonder about the donor screams? Her buzz faded fast. They were volunteers. Like you.
Lie.
My hand, steady. Grant's, pressed the suppressed Beretta to her temple. Mercy. Then. The pop was softer than a champagne cork. Her body slumping against the brick like a discarded marionette. No gore. Just finality. I whispered Juliet's apology to the stars. Then vanished into the night. Mom's calls ramped up, her voice fraying like old rope.
Jule.
If you're out there, your auntie's worried. And that Grant fellow, news says he's you. Somehow. Come home. Home. Asbury Park felt like another life. Canvases moldering in storage. I drove up I-95 one stormy weekend, wipers slapping rhythm like a heartbeat. The diner was the same, grease haze. Formica counters scarred by 1,000 regrets. Mom waited in a booth, her face a map of worry lines, nursing black coffee. Ma. The word croaked out, Grant's face clashing with my soul. She froze, mug midway to lips. Jesus. Mary.
Jule.
Explanations tumbled, swaps. Betrayals. The bullet-riddled path. She listened, chain smoking through a fresh pack, ash trembling on her filter. Wasted life. Bullshit. You were always the fighter.
Kid.
Tommy. That boy's poison. Tears welled. Hers and mine. Hybrid ducks leaking confusion. What now? She rasped. I hugged her, inhaling that familiar smoke and strength. Revenge.
Ma.
The American way. She pulled back, eyes fierce. Don't lose yourself in it. Or what's left. Wisdom from the woman who'd buried Dad young, raised us on grit and government cheese. I left her with cash, Grant's slush fund, and a promise. Closure. Back in D.C. Tension coiled tighter. Sarah's intel pegged the next hit. Marcus Hale. Vic's nephew. A lobbyist pup running interference from K Street. Young. Slick. With a jawline that screamed trust fund. I cornered him in a Ruth's Chris steakhouse. Private booth reeking of seared ribeye and secrets. Uncle Vic sends regards. I lied. Sliding into the leather. He blanched. Fork pausing midair. Commander. Heard you went rogue. Banter flowed. Deals dissected. Echo's tendrils in campaign finance. He was cocky. Spilling names, senators in the swap queue, CEOs prepped for upload. It's evolution.
Man.
You or them. The decision burned controversial. Kill a kid? Marcus was 25. Fresh from Yale. Hale's legacy in loafers. But his laptop hummed with orders, fresh donors rounded up from border patrols. I tasered him silent, dragged him to the Potomac's edge under Rock Creek Bridge. Last chance.
Pup.
Walk away. He spat defiance. Families forever. You'll see. The river swallowed his plea. Splash muffled by thunder. 2 down. Guilt gnawed. Juliet's brushstrokes imagining his face on canvas. Tragic antihero or monster spawn. Debatable. Like the swaps themselves, salvation or sin. Whispers turned to roars. Protests outside the Pentagon. Signs screaming, "End the echo," and freaks out. Me the poster child. Hybrid horror in headlines. Sarah urged caution. The council's activating contingencies. Swaps in the wild, civilians vanishing. Waking as strangers. Paranoia peaked. I swept the row house for bugs. Found none, but felt eyes everywhere. Tommy's drive yielded gold. Reversal chords for a Hale lab in Quantico. Raid time. I assembled a ghost team. Disaffected vets from Grant's old unit. O's called in over burner beers. For the brothers we lost to the machine, I toasted. Their nods grim. Stormed the lab under moonless sky. Black fatigues blending with night. Alarms wailed as we breached, stunners dropping guards. Boots pounding tile. Voss's successor. A twitchy postdoc. Cracked under my glare. The serum, it's unstable. Fusions like yours. They propagate. Meaning? More hybrids. Echo's virus spreading. We torched the servers. Flames licking like vindication. But Hale's voice crackled over intercom. Archived. Pre-recorded. Juliet. You fight well. But the board set. Checkmate in 3. Escape was hairy, choppers inbound. Our van fishtailing gravel. 1 vet down. Gut shot in the fray. His last words. Worth it. Commander.
Was it?
Blood on my hands again. Metaphorical and not. Back at base. Sarah waited. Face ashen. They got Tommy. Bait. Rage ignited. Pure Juliet, screw the plan. I stormed Hale's Supermax Wing solo. Forged creds from Grant's Rolodex. Guards bought the brass act. But the cell block hummed tension.
Hale.
Shackled and shaven. Grinned through bars like a wolf in wool. Come to gloat. Dear? His cell was a concrete confessional. Fluorescent buzz underscoring the drip of distant leaks. Hale sat ramrod on his bunk. Orange jumpsuit mocking his tailored past. But those eyes, predators gleam, unchanged. Juliet Harlan. Or Elias Grant. The fusion suits you, that fire in the belly. I gripped the bars. Knuckles whitening Grant's scars. Cut the psychobabble. Vic. Where's Tommy? He chuckled. A dry rustle like autumn leaves. Leverage.
My dear.
Your brothers. Cooperative now. Echoes Alpha Site. Off-grid in the Smokies. Come alone. Or he wakes in a donor's husk, permanently. Trap stench clung. But blood's thicker than caution. Controversial decision 4. Solo infill. No backup. Sarah's protests echoing as I geared up, suppressed Glock. Tac vest. Night vision ghosts from Grant's cache. Drove south through Appalachia's folds. Radio static my only companion. Mom's voice looping in my head, "Don't lose yourself." The site was a bunker masquerading as a ranger station. Chain link and razor wire winking under stars. Slipped the perimeter like a shadow. Juliet's artist's eye spotting the blind in the underbrush, Hale's remnants. Loyal to the bone. Inside. Sterile hum. Monitors glowing with neural maps. Tommy strapped to a gurney. IVs threading like spider silk. Face slack in induced sleep. "Sis," a guard sneered, emerging with MP5 leveled. "Boss said you'd bite." Firefight erupted, muzzle flashes strobing the lab. Bullets chewing consoles. I dropped two. Grant's reflexes a ballet of death. But a third clipped my shoulder. Fire blooming hot. Rolled behind a cryopod. Breath ragged. And hacked the system with Tommy's drive, door sealing. Gas hissing from vents. Coughs echoed. Bodies crumpling. Mercy or massacre? Debatable in the smoke. Freed Tommy. His eyes fluttering open like a drunk at last call.
Jule.
You came. Weak. But alive. We staggered out. Alarms shrieking. Into the mountain chill. Chopper blades thwopped distant. Extraction or extermination. We hot-wired a jeep. Tearing down switchbacks. Gravel spitting like accusations. Hale played us, Tommy gasped, clutching a gash from the restraints. The debts. Sarah, all smoke. He targeted you, from the start, after Dad's old case. Dad. Buried secret for, Pop wasn't just a gambler, he'd been a low-level CI for the feds. Sniffing Hale's early arms deals in the 90s. Found floating in the Delaware. Suicide. Tommy's hack. Echo of that. Hale tying loose ends through us. Dawn broke bloody over Knoxville as we ditched the Jeep. Melting into a truck stop crowd, greasy spoons and trucker grit. American as apple pie a la mode. Sarah rendezvoused in a booth. Her rental beater idling outside. Reunion was tense. Hugs aborted. Accusations airborne. You led them here, Tommy snarled. She fired back. I saved you both, fed the cords. Truth? Her tablet pinged. Council chatter. Hale's inner circle fracturing. Swaps going haywire in the wild. Fusion spreading, she said. Like yours. People waking.
Changed.
The drive north was a pressure cooker. Revelations simmering. Turns out, Echo's glitch wasn't beta error, it was design. Hale engineered propagation, hybrids as sleeper agents. Minds merging to infiltrate.
Control.
Grant's military overlay on my civilian chaos? Perfect vector. You're patient zero, Sarah murmured. Eyes on the rear view for tails. The council wants you dissected. Tommy. Shotgun seat. Twisted. Then we end it. Full exposure, names. Dates. The works. Controversial? Hell yes. Dumping the codex online meant anarchy. Black market swaps. Cartels cloning commandos. Every basement tinkerer playing Frankenstein. We holed up in a Shenandoah cabin. Grant's off-books retreat, log walls. Stone hearth. Stocked with MREs and malice. Nights blurred. Strategy sessions by firelight. Sarah's head on my lap. Her fingers tracing fusion scars. Intimacy crept. Controversial as sin, Grant's longing clashing with Juliet's walls. This isn't us, I whispered once. Her lips brushing my collarbone. Or is it? She pulled away. Shadows carving regret. Hale broke the mirrors. We're all swapped now. Tommy paced. Demons gnawing. I sold you out.
Jule.
For nothing. Forgiveness? I offered it. Jersey tough love style. Blood's blood. But next time, we bleed together. Mom flew down incognito. Her presence a balm amid the storm. This place smells like pine and paranoia, she griped. Unpacking Tupperware of meatballs, Philly comfort in Virginia wilds. Over dinner. Story spilled. Her suspicions post-dad. Anonymous tips she'd ignored to protect us. Waste of my life, too. Chasing normal, she admitted. Fork spearing pasta. But you, Jewel, you're painting with fire now. Tears pricked, hybrid heartstrings tugged. She met Sarah stiffly, the wife. But thawed over Chianti. Woman-to-woman warnings. Don't let her clip your wings. Kid. The council struck at midnight. 3 days in. Black SUVs breaching the tree line. TAC teams rappelling like avenging angels. Gunfire cracked the quiet. Windows shattering in sympathetic sprays. Flank M. Grant's command barked from my throat. Body moving on autopilot. Cover fire from the porch. Buckshot chewing bark. Tommy manned the ridge. Sarah rigging charges from the Jeep's toolkit. Chaos reigned. A council goon breached the door. Knife flashing, I parried. Juliet's improv turning the blade on him. Throat slit clean. Arterial spray painting the planks. Mercy absent. Survival stark. We repelled them. Barely, bodies strewn like macabre kindling. Our side bloodied but breathing. Sarah's handiwork. C4 daisy-chained under the drive. Blast funneling the retreat into fireball. Tommy took a round to the thigh. Me patching with field dressings. His grin wry. Karma's a bitch. Dawn tallied cost. Cabin smoldering. Council down 2 heavies, Senator Reyes. Swapped into a young aide skin. And biotech mogul Klein. His fusion unraveling mid-fight. Babbling identities like a glitchy AI. Interrogating survivors yielded gold. Hale's Supermax suicide. Faked. His mind uploaded to a council server.
Ghost in the machine.
Rage reignited. Purer than moonshine. We hit the data center in Chantilly. A nondescript warehouse humming with server farms. Hale's digital Valhalla. Infill was surgical. Sarah's hacks looping cams. Tommy's limp feigned for distraction at the gate. Inside, cool blue glow. Racks whispering secrets. I jacked in. Neural link from the cabin kit fusing my hybrid brain to the net, sensations overloading. Code streaming like 4-drip. There. Hale's essence. A virtual throne room. His avatar smirking in pinstripes. Welcome home. Juliet. Ready for the big swap? Virtual brawl ensued. Firewalls as fists. Algorithms as blades. Grant's tactics parried his thrusts. My creativity glitching his defenses. Painted viruses. Artistic worms burrowing code. You wasted it all. Vic. I taunted. Deleting donor logs. Lives. Lies, poof. He countered vicious. Floods of memories. Dad's suicide vid playing. Hale's hand guiding the noose. Your old man squealed. You were next. Truth reversed. Not loose ends, but inheritance. Dad's CI files hid Echo's seed money. Laundered through his debts. Tommy's hack. My legacy. Blood calling to blood. I purged him. Core meltdown initiating. Servers frying. Hale scream digital death rattle. But twist. His upload fragmented. Shards embedding in the net. Echo lives. Viral. Unstoppable. We exfiltrated smoke-wreathed. Alarms a banshee wail. Aftermath. Council crumbles. Headlines screaming. Deep state swap scandal. Protests swell. But so do copycats, garage neurohacks, black market mines. Tommy heals in a Montreal safe house. Sarah and I. Entangled. Her ethics bending to my fire. Mom, back in Philly. Blogging anonymously. The wasted no more.
Me?
I command the remnants. Hybrid guardian against the ghosts. Wasted life? Transformed. But at what cost? Debatable. As the fusion spread, months blurred into a new normal. If normal's a word for souls stitched from stranger scraps. D.C. Simmered post-purge. Congressional hearings like circus tents. Senators sweating under Klieg lights. Denying swaps while their aides twitched with borrowed ticks. I testified in Shadow's closed session, voice modulator turning Grant's growl to neutral hum. Project Echo was aberration. I lied smooth. Juliet's improv selling the spin. Truth? Aberration's a lie. Hale's shards proliferated. Whispers of wild fusions in alley psych wards. Wall Street wolves waking with artists' tremors. Sarah and I claimed a brownstone in Capitol Hill. Her neuroethics consultancy a front for cleanup, tracking glitches.
Counseling the changed. Nights.
We'd tangle in Egyptian cotton. Bodies a map of controversies, her size mingling Grant's discipline with my chaos. This us, she'd murmur post-climax. Fingers tracing the Y-incision scar from the original swap. I'd kiss her temple, tasting salt and doubt. Us enough. But doubts festered. Tommy's postcards from the Great White North, laconic. Holding, stirred sibling static. Was he redeemed? Or Hale's echo? Plotting from Pines? Mom thrived. Oddly, her blog, Jersey Ghosts, viral in alt pods. Dissecting deep state dirt with smoker's wit. Wasted my prime chasing your father's fool's gold, she Skyped. Background her sun porch. Tomatoes ripening defiant. Now, I'm the oracle. Laughter cracked her rasp. Mine followed. Hybrid harmony. But her eyes probed. That woman's trouble.
Jule.
Clings like ivy. Sarah? Ivy or anchor? Controversial decision 5. I proposed. Ring pilfered from Grant's safe. Platinum band etched with coordinates. Our first raid. She said yes in Rehoboth sand. Waves crashing approval. But her grip trembled. Fusions. They're not stable. What if we unravel? Instability hit home via email, anonymous. Hale's sigil watermark. Patient 0. The board reconvenes. Your brother's seat awaits. Panic surged. Tommy snatched. I mobilized ghosts. Exvets turned PIs. Sarah's net diving deep web dreck. Trail led to Vancouver shadows. A clinic masquerading as spa, Echo 2.0. Council remnants peddling youth to tech bros. Infill. Commercial flight. Nerves jangling like loose change. Canada chill bit. But Grant's stride carried me through customs. Sarah's forged docks seamless. The clinic perched on Stanley Park's edge. Glass walls mocking evergreens. We posed as couples therapy, her the shrink. Me the PTSD vet, slipping past reception into sublevels. There, cryo chambers humming. Minds in flux. Tommy, mid-swap. Thrashing in restraints, his face warping. Donor's features bleeding through.
Jule.
Gurgled cry. Half him. Half stranger. Guards swarmed. But we were primed, stunners popping like popcorn. Sarah's EMP pulse frying locks. Extraction chaos. Alarms whooping. A council heavy, ex-CIA, swapped into a 20-something shell, lunging with syringe. I disarmed him Grant style. knee to gut. Then Juliet flare, shattered vial in his eye. Screams curdling air. Fled to a seaplane on the harbor. Tommy slumped in the hold. Fusion fever raging. They got me in Montreal, he rasped. Sweat beading. Thought it was clean. Hale's code. It's in me now. Revelation chilled. The upload hadn't died. It metastasized. Viral psyches hopping hosts. Tommy's deader days? Infection vector. Hale's essence latching via stress. Back stateside. Walter Reed Redix, docs scratching heads at the hybrid cocktail. Contagious consciousness, Sarah theorized. White bards scrawled with neural webs. Echo's gift, immortality through infestation. Climax, Redix brewed in the Beltway bowels. Council endgame. Mass upload at a black tie summit. National Cathedral retrofitted as neural hub. Bishops blessing billionaires' brain drains. Invite arrived velvet hammered. Commander Harlan Grant. Your expertise required. Bait. Blatant. We crashed it. Tommy stabilized but sidelined. Mom's voice on speaker. Kick their holy asses. Kid. Infiltration. Caterer's van. Whites and whispers. Cathedral nave glowed stained glass saints. Elite milling like sharks in tuxes, sucks. Bezoses. Politicos with donor eyes. Sarah and I split. Her to the altar servers. Me to the crypt chambers. Tension taut as bowstring. Whispers of the freaks here. Eyes sliding my way. Breach. Her hack cascading holos. Hale's face blooming on transepts. Archived gloat. Twisted to confession. I built gods from scraps. You? My masterpiece. Panic rippled. Champagne flutes shattering. Council goons mobilized. But vets swarmed from shadows, my ghost network. Armed and aching for payback. Fists flew. Chandeliers swaying like pendulums of doom. I cornered the ringleader. Madame Voss's successor. A venture vixen in Chanel. Her fusion eyes kaleidoscopic. Juliet. Join us. Wasted potential no more. Her pitch dripped honeyed heresy. I laughed. Glock steady. Potential's mine now. Bullet winged her shoulder, non-lethal. Controversial mercy echoing my first kill. Sarah's signal. Core meltdown primed. We converged at the nave. Hale's holos chanting litany of sins. Dad's death. My swap. Villages vaporized. Elites bolted. But feds, tipped by Mom's blog, breached doors. Badges flashing biblical judgment. Twist finale. As flames licked reliquaries. Tommy burst in, not sidelined, but swapped deliberate.
His body housed.
Hale?
No.
Hybrid supreme. Brother's grit fused with Vic's cunning. A balancer. Family reunion, he grinned. Voice double-barreled. I took the shard to end it. Truth reversed ultimate. Tommy's capture self-orchestrated. Bait to draw the council. His fusion the kill switch, purging code from within. We torched the hub together. Inferno cleansing. Hale's essence unraveling in binary screams. Ending? By tragic triumph. Debatable as democracy. Tommy vanished again. Guardian ghost in the grid. Sarah and I wed quiet, courthouse. Mom officiating via Zoom. Her toast. To wasted lives reclaimed. But fusions linger. My mirror shows flickers Grant squint. Juliet's smirk. Nightmares blend. Fallujah's sands with Asbury waves. Wasted?
Nah.
Weaponized. The Pentagon calls me advisor, now. Mom beams at the title. But in quiet. I paint, canvases alive with controversy. Strokes of revenge eternal. Who's the monster? Hero? You decide. The swap's just begun.